So profit is the excess of revenue of a period over its related expenses is called as what? Profit. Now what do you mean by purchase? Procuring of certain asset or goods. So it may be for their personal use or it is meant for sale. So both are termed as what? Purchase. So voucher is nothing but documentary evidence in support of a transaction is called as voucher. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidyashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. My dear students, we were discussing about chapter 1 of your accountancy syllabus, that is Introduction to Accounting, and today we are in the 4th session of this chapter. So we were discussing all the basic terms which are used in accounting. Since you are going to learn accounting for the first time, you will hear few of the new words. So let us see what is the meaning of these new words which are used in accounting. So we will call it as basic terms used in accounting, and we had already discussed few of the terms. In today's session, we shall continue with few more terms. So the first term what we are going to discuss today is profit. So you are familiar with the profit. The main intention of the business is to earn profit. Then what is this profit? So profit is the excess of revenue of a period over its related expenses is called as what? Profit. You know, revenue and expenses are common, right? So there will be number of revenue which takes place in an organization. In the same way, there will be certain expenses also. So what do you mean by profit then? If the revenue is more than expenses, then it is called as what? Profit. So here the sentence tells that the excess of revenue of a period over its related expenses during the accounting year is called as profit. Profit increases the investment of the owners. Of course, profit is what? It increases the capital of the business. So, it thereby increases the investment of the owners also. Hope you are clear with the first term, that is profit. So, what you have to remember, you are going to compare revenue as well as expenses. If the revenue is more than expenses, it is called as what? Profit. The next term is gain. Then what is this gain? Here under profit, we are going to take overall revenue as well as overall expenses of an organization. But gain, individually we are going to consider. So in gain, we are going to consider few of the aspects. Let us see what is the gain. A profit that arises from events of transactions which are incidental to business, such as sale of fixed asset. Now, when they have sold a fixed asset and they have received an extra amount, which is called as what? Gain. In the same way, winning of lottery case, appreciation in the value of asset. If the value of asset have been increased, to what extent the value have been increased, so that is called as what? Gain. I have told you, individually we are going to consider a particular aspect, then we are going to ascertain the gain. Whereas in profit, overall revenue and overall expenses of an organization in that particular accounting period will be considered. Whereas in gain, individually we are going to take. For example, if we take appreciation in the value of asset. For example, if the value of land was rupees 10 lakh, now it has been increased to 10 lakh 50,000. So what is the appreciation here? So it is been appreciated by 50,000. Now then what is this 50,000? It is the appreciation, that is increase in the value of land. So this 50,000 is called as what? Gain. In the same way, winning of court case. So it is also gain for the organization. Hope you are clear with these two terms. Now next one is loss. You know about profit. So if the revenue is more than expense, it is called as profit. Then what is loss? The opposite of profit will be loss. The excess of expenses of a period over its related revenue. It is termed as what? Loss. It decreases the owner's equity. Whereas profit increases the owner's equity, whereas loss decreases the owner's equity. Here also we are going to consider revenue as well as expense. of a organization in that particular accounting period. If the expense is more than revenue, then it is called as what? Loss. If the revenue is more than expense, then it is called as what? Profit. So it is opposite to profit. So here we are going to consider the total revenue as well as total expense of an organization, where if the expense is more than revenue, then it is called as what? Loss. So it decreases the owner's equity. It also refers to the money or money's worth lost or cost incurred without receiving any benefit in return. Example, cash or goods lost by theft or fire, accident, etc. So here loss is also means that if anything which is lost without any benefit, that is also termed as what? Loss. For example, in a godown, so if the goods are lost because of fire, then it is also called as what? Loss. So it is a loss for the organization, right? So here loss means it refers to the money or money's worth lost without any benefit. So it is also termed as loss. So it also includes loss on sale of fixed asset. So here if the value of fixed asset is 50,000, but they have sold at rupees 40,000, then 10,000, different 10,000 is what? It is loss. Clear? So here loss has several meaning. So if the expense is more than revenue, it is also termed as loss. Or if money or money's worth is lost without any benefit, that is also termed as loss. In the same way, if there is any loss on fixed asset, for example, the value of fixed asset is 50,000, but they have sold it for 40,000, then 10,000 rupees is what? It is also termed as loss. Hope you are clear with this term, loss. Next is goods. Of course, we are going to hear this word often and often in accounting transaction. Let us see what is this goods. It refers to the products in which the business unit is dealing. That is, in terms of which buying and selling takes place in an organization. So, what do you mean by goods? So, of course, this business will always deal with certain item. So, whatever the item the business is dealing, so that item is called as what? Goods. So, here goods means what? It is a product in which business unit are dealing, that is in terms of which buying and selling takes place in an organization. So, that item is called as what? Goods. The items that are purchased for use in the business is not called as goods. So, for example, if the goods or if the item are purchased in order to use that in the business, then it is not termed as goods. Then what is goods? So, goods is always purchased in order to sell to others. So, goods is nothing but which is meant for sale in the organization is called as goods. For example, for a furniture dealer, purchase of chairs and table is termed as goods. For example, if there is a furniture shop and for him chair as well as tables are what? Goods, because he is going to sell that goods and earning money. Here the furniture shop owner always deals with the furnitures. So here for him chair as well as table is what? It is termed as goods. While for other, the furniture are treated as an asset. For example, even at your home also there will be certain furnitures. So it is asset for you because you are not going to deal with that. You are not going to sell as well as purchase that asset. So here dealing will not happen. So it is termed as asset in your house. But for a furniture shop owner, so it is always treated as what? Goods, because he is going to deal the transactions. Similarly, for a stationery merchant, so if you take a stationery merchant, stationery is a goods. So all the stationery items will be goods, whereas for others, it is an item of expense, not purchase. So here, for a stationery merchant, all the stationery items is termed as goods because he is going to deal with that and he is going to earn profit from that. So it is termed as what? Goods. Next is purchasers. Now what do you mean by purchasers? Purchasers are the total amount of goods procured by the business on credit or cash for use or sale. Now what do you mean by purchase? Of course, in our organization, purchase as well as sales are common. Now what do you mean by purchase? Procuring of certain asset or goods. So it may be for their personal use or it is meant for sale. So both are termed as what? Purchase. In a trading concern, purchases are made of merchandise for resale with or without processing. Now, for a trading concern, what they will do? They will directly purchase the goods, that is finished goods, and they will sell that goods. So, they will not process that goods. So, for trading concern, purchases are made of merchandise for resale without processing. So here, processing will not happen for a trading concern. So they will just purchase the goods and they will directly sell the goods to the customers. But for a manufacturing concern, they will purchase the raw material and they will convert that raw material into finished goods. Then they will sell to the ultimate customers. So for a manufacturing concern, raw materials are purchased. Here they are not going to purchase the finished goods. They are going to purchase the raw materials, processed further into finished goods and then sold. Now clear about the trading concern as well as manufacturing concern. In trading concern, this processing will not happen. They will directly purchase and they will sell the goods. But for a manufacturing concern, they will purchase the raw material, they will convert them into finished goods, then they will sell. But both are purchase. Purchases may be cash purchase or credit purchase. So you have already discussed or we have already discussed about this cash purchase as well as credit purchase. That is nothing but cash transaction and credit transaction. So if we purchase the goods and if we make the payment immediately, then it is called as what? Cash purchase. If we purchase the goods and we have not made the payment immediately, we have taken some time and we are making the payment, that is called as what? Credit purchase. Hope you are clear with this term, that is purchase. Next, debtors. So here there are two terms, very important terms, debtors as well as creditors. Now let us see who is a debtor. Now debtor will be a person. In the same way, creditor is also person or it can be institution also. Now let us see who is a debtor. Debtor are persons and or other entities. So it can be either persons or any other entities who owe to an enterprise an amount of buying goods and services on credit. For example, X is a person, so he has purchased goods from the organization. So he has purchased goods from the organization. Now X have to pay the amount. So X have purchased some goods from the organization. Now X have to pay to the organization. Now X have not paid this amount immediately. And what it is called as? It is not a cash transaction because X have not made the payment immediately. So it is not a cash transaction. Then what type of transaction it is? It is a credit transaction. So here he has purchased goods on credit basis from the organization. So he is not going to make the payment immediately. After few days he is going to make the payment to the organization. Now X have to pay amount to the organization, right? So X is called as what? X is a debtor. Now who is a debtor? Debtor are persons or any other entity who owe to the enterprise. Now X have to pay amount to the organization. So X is called as what? Debtors. So for an organization, X is debtors because from X the organization will get the amount in the future date. So X is what? X is a debtors, an amount for buying goods and services on credit basis. Now debtors and creditors will come only when the purchase and sales takes place on credit basis. Remember this. So for cash transaction, there will be no debtors as well as creditors. So debtors is a person who owes money to the business or organization is called as debtors. The total amount standing against such person and or other entity on the closing date is shown in the balance sheet as sundry debtors in the asset side. Now we will show this debtors in the asset side of the balance sheet. So debtors is always what? It is a asset. Now, why it is an asset? Because in future, the organization will receive amount from that person. So, he is considered as what? He is considered as asset because in future, we are getting some benefit from that person. So, he is considered as what? Asset. Now, moving on to the next term, that is creditors. Now, this is opposite to debtors. So, debtors I have already told you, one who owes money, one who want to pay money to the organization in the future. So, he is called as debtor. Then, who is creditor? Creditor are the persons or other entity who have to be paid by the enterprise. For example, enterprise, let us take it as organization. Now, this is an organization. Now, it has purchased some goods. Now, organization have purchased goods from Z. Okay. Now, organization have to make the payment. So, it have to make the payment, but it has not made the payment immediately. Organization will pay the amount in the future date. Clear? Now, it has to make payment in the future. Right? So, now the creditor arises. So, who is the creditor? Creditor are the persons and or other entity who have to be paid by the enterprise. Now, Z is called as what? Creditors. So, Z is called as creditors. Why is called as creditors? Because the organization have to pay him in the future date. So, if the organization wants to receive from some other person, then that person is called as what? Debtor. Now here creditor means the organization will pay in the future. So organization have to owe money in the future. So that is known as what? Creditor. Now Z is what? Z is a creditor from which the organization have purchased goods on credit basis for which it has to make payment in the future. So Z is a creditor. So, creditor are the persons or other entity who have to be paid by an enterprise. So, here enterprise is nothing but organization, an amount for providing the enterprise goods and services on credit basis. Now, Z is called as what? Creditors because the organization have to pay him in the future. The total amount standing to the favor of such persons and or other entities on the closing date. Now, creditors is termed as what? Creditors is termed as liability. So, creditors is what? It is a liability. Now, why it is a liability? So, why it is a liability? Because the organization have to pay in the future. So, it is termed as what? Liability. So, clear about the creditors? Yes. So, debtors is always as an asset because in future they are going to receive the amount, whereas creditors is nothing but the organization have to pay amount in the future. So, that is creditors. Clear? So, this is about creditors. The next term is vouchers. So, I have already told you in a previous session. So, in the books of account, we will record all the transactions. That is, we will call it as recording of transaction in the book of original entry. Now, which is a book of original entry? Journal. So, in journal, we will record all the transactions. Right? So, in order to record the transaction, each and every transaction should contain a documentary evidence. Suppose I am going to record the first transaction. So, in order to record the first transaction, as per my wish, I cannot record the transaction. So, for example, the cash which has been received, rupees 10,000. So, for recording this transaction, I should have a proper documentary evidence. Without proper documentary evidence, I cannot record the transaction in the books of account. So, this documentary evidence with which the transaction has been supported is called as what? Voucher. So, voucher is nothing but documentary evidence in support of a transaction is called as voucher. In the same way for second transaction also. So, in order to record this, I have to have a proper voucher, that is proper documentary evidence. So, these documentary evidence are called as what? vouchers. So each and every transaction in the books of account will have a documentary evidence without which the transaction is not recorded in the books of account. Now let us see what is this voucher. A voucher is a documentary which provides the authorization to pay on the basis of which the business transactions are first of all recorded in the books of account. So you just remember, in order to record each and every transaction in the books of account, there should be a documentary evidence which is called as what? Voucher. So a separate voucher is prepared for each transaction and it specifies the accounts to be debited as well as credited. So here the voucher itself tells that whether which account to be debited and which account to be credited. The form of a voucher varies from one firm to another since vouchers are printed separately by different firms in their own names. So there will be number of vouchers and this vouchers has to be preserved till the end of the financial year. So during the process of auditing also they are going to compare the transactions with this documentary evidence. So it has to be serially numbered. So according to the transaction how they have recorded, in the same way this vouchers has to be preserved carefully till the end of financial year. So the vouchers can be in different colors. So in order to identify what type of voucher it is, so it will be serially numbered and it will be in different colors. So this is about vouchers. So vouchers are prepared by the accountant and each voucher is numbered. So each voucher has to be numbered and countersigned, and there should be an authorized signature in that voucher by an authorized person of the firm. So time being, you remember, voucher is a documentary evidence in support of a particular transaction. Next is discount. So you are familiar with this word discount. So let us see what is this discount. So it is a rebate or an allowance given by the seller to the buyer is called as what? Discount, or we will call it as reduction in the amount of goods sold. Amount of goods sold is called as discount. So, for example, if the total cash price of a goods is rupees 100, but it is provided at rupees 90, then that 10 rupees difference, 10 rupees is what? Discount. So discount means deduction in the price of goods sold, or it is a rebate or an allowance given by the seller to the buyer is called as discount. So there are two types of discount. Trade discount. Now what do I mean by trade discount? So this discount is given in the process of trading. So when discount is allowed by the seller to its customers, that is purchaser, at a fixed percentage on the list or catalog price of the goods, it is called as what? Trade discount. For example, if the purchaser have purchased number of goods and they have calculated what is the total amount of such goods purchased. Now, what the seller will do? Seller will give certain percentage reduction. So that is known as what? Trade discount. That is, in the process of trading, if the reduction is made, then it is termed as trade discount. So it is not recorded in the books of account as it is deducted in the invoice. So in the invoice itself, they will reduce certain amount and they will pay the amount there itself. So it is not recorded in the books of account as it is deducted in the invoice or cash memo itself from the gross value of goods. So here in the invoice, so you know about the invoice. So here itself they will record everything and they will give the discount here itself, and the ultimate amount that has to be paid will be recorded in the invoice itself. In such cases, it will be not recorded in the books of account. So we will record what is the total amount which is being paid. Only that amount we will pay, we will record in the books of account. That is, after reduction, what is the amount is actually paid. So that only will be recorded in this books of account. Whereas cash discount, so what is cash discount then? So when discount is allowed to the customer for making prompt payment is called as what? Cash discount. For example, if the goods are sold on credit basis, where there are two parties, you know who are the two parties? Purchaser and seller, right? So they have here, the purchaser have purchased goods on credit basis worth rupees 10,000. Now, here the purchaser has to pay rupees 10,000 to the seller, right? But what the seller will do, seller will tell that, and the duration will be given 2 weeks. So here the seller is in need of money. So what the seller will tell, so if you give money within 1 week, I'll reduce some amount. I'll give the reduction. I'll give the discount. So if he gives the amount, so here if the purchaser gives the amount to the seller within 1 week, then he will tell that 1,000 reduction will be there. So the total amount to be paid will be only 9,000. So here while making the payment, so if any amount is being deducted by the seller to the purchaser, so that is known as what? Cash discount. So when discount is allowed to the customer for making prompt payment, that is within which the period which is given by the seller, the purchaser have made the payment. So for that, seller will deduct certain amount which is known as what? Cash discount. For example, if a seller allows 2% discount for payment within a week, so it will be called as what? Cash discount. So it is always recorded in the books of account. Whereas trade discount is not recorded in the books of account, whereas cash discount has to be recorded in the books of account. That is, during the process of making the payment, if the seller deducts the amount, that is known as cash discount. Whereas trade discount, during the trading process, so if there is any deduction, that is known as what? Trade discount. And the next term is entry. So let us see what is this entry. So the transactions that are recorded in the books of accounts are called as entry. So let us see what is this entry. When a transaction or event, so you know transaction means what? The activity that takes place in the form of money in an organization is called as transaction, right? So when a transaction or event which is recorded in the books of account, it is called as what? Entry. So if that transaction which is recorded in the books of account, for example, if an organization purchase of furniture, so there will be purchase of furniture worth rupees 1 lakh. Now this is a transaction or event that have taken place in an organization. If you record this transaction in the books of account, then it is called as what? Entries. Yeah, now clear about the entry. So if a transaction or event that takes place in an organization and it is been recorded in the books of account, then it is called as what? Entry. And the next one is bad debts. Now what do you mean by bad debts? It is an amount that has become irrecoverable from the debtor. For example, I have already told you. So here the debtor is what? Debtor is an asset. So for example, if the organization have purchased or the organization have sold goods. So the organization have sold goods to M. So M has to make the payment. So this is a credit sale of goods. Here the organization have sold goods to M, where M have to make the payment. Now this is not a cash transaction, it is a credit transaction where M will make the payment in the future. Okay, for example, M have to pay rupees 10,000 in the future for the goods which has been purchased from the organization. Now suppose if M does not pay this amount, so then it is known as what? Bad debts. So whatever the amount that has to be received from debtors is not received, then in such cases, it is termed as what? Bad debts. So bad debts is what? It is an amount that has become irrecoverable. So here the organization could not recover that amount from the debtor. Then it is called as bad debts. So if a business loss and it is debited to profit and loss account as an expense. So it will be recorded where it is a business loss because the organization could not recover that amount. So it is a business loss and it is debited to profit and loss account as an expense. Next is insolvent. Now what do you mean by insolvent? A person or an enterprise which is not in a position to pay its debt is called as what? Insolvent. Of course, the organization will not have sufficient amount of money in order to undertake all the activities. In such cases, they can borrow from others. Suppose if the organization is not able to repay that debt. For example, here the organization have borrowed. So it has borrowed from the bank. So here the organization have borrowed money from the bank. Now the organization is not in a position to repay that amount which is borrowed from the bank. In such cases, organization is called as what? Insolvent. So what do you mean by insolvent? A person or an enterprise which is not in a position to pay its debts or pay its loan. It is called as what? Insolvent. Then what is solvent? It is the opposite of insolvent. So what is solvent? A person or an enterprise which is in a position to pay the debts is called as what? Solvent. For example, if the organization have borrowed loan and it is repaying the loan, then it is called as what? Solvent. Whereas insolvent, they have borrowed loan but it is not in a condition to repay that, then it is called as insolvent. Hope you are clear with solvent as well as insolvent. Next is stores. Now what do you mean by stores? The term stores is used to denote the material held by an enterprise for the purpose of consumption in the business and not for resale. Now stores means what? So these are the goods which is been stored in an organization for the consumption, not for resale. Then it is termed as what? Stores. For example, lubricants, spare parts of the machinery. So here spare parts of the machinery will be used for the repairs of the machinery, right? So it will be not used for the resale. Then it is termed as what? Stores. In the same way, packing materials. So all these will be used in the business for the consumption. So it is not meant for resale. Then it is termed as stores. Next is investments. Now what do you mean by investment? Investment refers to deployment of the fund in the shares or debentures of the companies with the intention of earning a return. Now what do you mean by investment? That is investing the money or deployment of the money in shares or debentures in order to get some return. So here normally no person will invest money without any returns. So the main intention of investment is to get the return back. So that is known as what? Investment. That is deployment of the money in order to get some return from that is called as what? Investment. My dear students, hope you have understood the session. In today's session, we have discussed basic terms in accounting. See you all in my next session with a new topic. Till then, take care. Thank you.